national anthem. May I have your permission to read out the name?
Inaugurated Governing Council.
The Governing Council members after the national. The Governing Council members after the national anthem. Governing Council, may I have your permission to read out the name?
Inaugurated Governing Council.
The Governing Council members after the national. The Governing Council members after the national anthem.
Education is the bedrock of development, and Agosali University holds a special place in the history of Edo State. The institution has produced some of the finest minds in Nigeria, and it is our responsibility to restore its lost glory and ensure its continual existence. One of the first was to increase the university monthly subvention from 41 million to 500 million. This is a bold step. It reflects our commitment to the revival of Ambrose Ali University.
Without that, education is the key to our future in Edo State. And the role the university we so love, we play in our future development cannot be overemphasized. It is very clear from the steps you have taken so far, you are truly committed to supporting the university and bringing the university back to life again.
Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Iyori Folarin. Today we're going over to Edo State in a manner of speaking to see what's going on there, from the ruling party. Our subject matter today is governance and accountability. Focus on Edo assets verification. And our guest is the Edolite, the public affairs analyst, the public servant. He's been in public service for quite a long time. I'm talking about Prince Kasim Afebua, who is joining us via Zoom. Good morning to you, Prince Afebua.
I can hear you. Can you hear my own connection?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Okay. Collins, I said I want to interview. Hello? I want to interview. Hello?
Hello, Prince, we've actually started the program.
But the voice is very low, very faint.
Oh dear, but can you hear me now? Because we can hear you. Can you hear me now? Because we can hear you clearly.
I can hear you, but it's very faint.
That won't work very much.
Uncle Yori?
Yes, sir.
It's very faint. Come on, increase the volume of your listening. Huh?
I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
I'm so sorry.
Uncle Yori, well done. No?
I must greet you well done too, sir. This shouldn't be happening.
Okay, I can hear you now. I think it's better.
Okay. So I have just finished telling our viewers who have been waiting for us to come on that you are our guest this morning, and it's around governance and accountability with a focus on Edo assets verification. Is it still good? Can you still hear me?
I can hear you, yes, asset verification.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I wanted to ask you, I get the impression that the APC in Edo State is not necessarily thrilled by the submission of the Assets Verification Committee,
APC or PDP?
Well, APC said it is not impressed
APC?
with the verification. That is why we want to find out what exactly, because there's a committee, there's a verification committee, right?
Nobody can say that, Uncle Yori.
But what I'm saying is that I have seen a report that is talking about some, some things that weren't supposed to be, and that there's so much that is not accounted for. So really, you're the person to grab hold of and say, so what exactly, how did it go? That verification exercise, were you able to agree? Are you satisfied that, everything is as they say it is?
Thank you very much, Uncle Yori. I must tell you that the Asset Verification Committee spent so many hours, days, looking at documents and several other, documentations within government and outside it. We published a memorandum informing people to submit any information that they have at their disposal that could help the committee carry out its responsibility. And at the end of the day, we submitted a 44-page document with about 3,600 pages annexures.
Okay.
And so when people talk about not being satisfied, I think it will be good for them to read the entire gamut of our report so that they can have an informed opinion and perspectives about how we come or arrive at our findings and recommendations to government. And we're also pushing a step further to advise government that they should set up a judicial commission of inquiry that will look deeper into our findings and recommendations and carry out prosecution of those who have been found culpable.
Yeah.
But I must tell you that ex-Governor Baseki ran Edo State like a private limited company. And that is quite worrisome.
Well,
and in our reports,
yes,
we catalog, step by step, what we found to be infractions and financial malfeasance perpetrated by that government with copious evidences, not just hearsay. And I give you a typical example, Yori. We have a Radisson Hotel, which the government started barely 9 months before its expiration. They got 25 billion from the stock market, bought the plot of land 2 billion, and commenced activities in that place. As at the time, government has spent about 17.5 billion. They decided to bring in another investor who, according to them, was bringing 10 billion. And at the end of the day, they ceded 80% of that Radisson Hotel to that particular investor and ceded 20% to the state government that has spent, a whole lot of money, 17.5 billion in one instance and about 5 billion in another, making 22.5 billion. So we were now asking the question, how can a company that invested 10 billion, quote and unquote, be given 80% of the company and 20% to the state government that actually own the land that invested 17.25 billion into the project. So these are the issues.
Okay.
That's just one out of several others.
Prince,
you have the MOA.
Prince, I beg you, one moment. One moment.
Museum of West African Arts.
Prince, one moment. This is exactly what I meant when I said that the committee wasn't satisfied. It wasn't impressed, actually, with what it was showing. That was what I meant. These are...
okay.
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, you're even calling for a forensic...
Because they prided themselves as a technocratic government running an e-gov platform. They tell you that less paper, more technology, But we discovered copiously now, and with evidences, that it was actually an e-corruption. They were driven by corruption, fed on corruption, profligate, acquisitive, and conquistadorial. They were just treating the state like one entity, like a private company. And just 2 days back, AfriInvest wants to invest in Presco oil. AfriInvest, you know, belongs to the former governor. And we saw the traces of all their involvement in governance in Edo State. And when government start anything, they take over midway in very shady manner. And these are some of the issues we raise concerns about.
In fact,
like
you specifically, one second.
That was expanded.
Yeah, Prince, let us come to them one by one, because this seems very serious.
Yes.
These are very serious indictments. Let's come to them number one. In fact, one by one. You spoke about, when you were speaking about the 80% and 20%, surprising share.
Equity.
Yes, equity, surprising that Edo was retaining 20%, whereas Triburi House Limited, you specifically mentioned that. Yes. And I think it is your thought that somehow the former governor, is connected with that company.
Yes.
I mean,
you see, the Triburi was registered last year.
Yes.
May 2024. Barely, maybe 5 months to the expiration of the previous government. Triburi had not done any business before. The first business to do was to acquire or invest in Harrison Blue by bringing in 10 billion, according to them. When we saw traces of where the money came in, and we saw the way the money was evaporated within 2 months. 2 months. And so we now started asking query. You'll be shocked that Triburi is just a family business. It was registered by one young man, and the other persons who are there, his children and what have you. These are the same pattern they use to invest, to do business with government and confuse the public. We invited Triburi, we never saw them. We sent them email, which they acknowledged, but they never showed up.
Well,
so for us,
this is quite serious. These are quite serious allegations, because in the document,
yes, very serious ones. That's why we want the Commission of Inquiry, judicial one.
Okay.
So that persons can be prosecuted and punishment can be meted out to them. Our overriding interest is about ensuring that there was value for money of Edo people. You can't invest Edo people's 22.5 billion, for example, in a project, and you cede 20% to the state government, and you give 80% to a company that was registered in May 2024 that purportedly invested 10 billion. So where is the equity in that? Where is justice in that? Where is even economic value in terms of the quantum of investment by government and that of the private person? So we find some of these things very curious. I was trying to raise the issue of Stella Obasanjo before.
Okay, please, the hospital.
They were trying to expand Stella Obasanjo's hospital. Very good idea. But in the course of execution, one consultant was paid 937 million naira. Almost 1 billion naira for just consultancy of supervising and looking, leaving the civil service professionals and inspectors and all of that out of the entire transaction. But for the fact that APC won election in Edo State, those civil service will have crumbled, because we saw several use of consultants drawn from different parts of the country. Edo people were not part and parcel of this whole process. Any little thing, they bring in consultants. And in the private world, they tell you cannot quantify how much a consultant can take or how much you pay and all that. These are just the strategies to pick a piece of meat from the pot of soup. and all of that. And so for us, we are querying quite a number of issues. Our investment, our resources, how they utilize the resources. We have contractors that were paid money. Some of them confessed to us that they were asked to pay 10 billion, 10%, sorry, 10% kickback and all of that. Some of them were bold enough to confide in us like that. And you see, it's kind of shoddy jobs that are out there. Some of the contractors did due diligence to the money they were paid. We also acknowledge all those ones.
Okay.
We categorize them as performing contractors and unperforming ones. And we advise the governor to take, more than a passing interest in ensuring that the right contractors are used, because this is dry season. If you construct road, it is for the good people of Edo State. We are not going to deny them that particular incentive, but at the same time, we must insist on value for money.
Indeed.
If you are spending 10 naira, let's even get a value for 8 naira.
Okay.
But in this case, they were spending 10 naira, we're getting value for 1 naira.
Okay.
And that is the most curious aspect of the entire Obaseki's government. Well, and so a judicial commission of inquiry will have, better understanding, better backgrounding to invite those persons, whether they like it or not, they have to show up, unlike us where they turned on some of our invitations. But we had a civil service that cooperated with us. We have some of the contractors that cooperated with us. We met over 50-something contractors. We interrogated their work. We look at variation. You award contract of 1 billion. Within 3 months, you will increase it to 3 billion in the name of variation. It is as a result of dollar volatility and all of that. But when you see the work done on ground, it's a far cry from what they were paid. So these are some of the issues. And for all of this to happen under a government that prided itself as a technocratic government that was recreating Edo in a different manner, was just a matter of showmanship.
Okay,
not leadership at the very best.
But you have said that there were some performing contractors. Not all of them were bad.
Yes, we're not going to use one tag to condemn everything. What we saw, we reported. There were some performing contractors, no doubt. They did quality job even in terms of surface drains, in terms of building the drains, and even the asphalting, meeting with the expected provisions in their, in a bill of quantity and all of that. And so we commended those ones. Our overriding interest is for the people of Edo State. No, nothing personal about this. If you are running a public office, you must make sure that you do all due diligence, follow due process, and ensure that there's value for money for the contract you are awarding.
Okay.
Even the procurement office of the government of Obaseki also wrote a very damning report on the government that they served, saying that most of the contracts would never follow due process of investment, of procurement process. So for that reason, they said the contracts that were awarded has to be properly scrutinized and ensure that there is value for money. That is their own procurement report, not even ours, So a lot of things, Okuyori.
So it's going
I was talking about the MOA, Museum of West African Art.
Yes.
The governor demolished the central hospital that is located at the heart of Benin, issued a CFO to MOA. It used to be a MOA, that's Edo Museum of West African Arts. And this came up at that period of return of artifacts to the Benin Palace by several countries and colonial masters, trying to find a place where they can domicile those artifacts and also assist the palace to build a museum of its own. But they hurriedly went and set up a MOA, Edo Museum of West African Arts, and along the line, from our interrogation, they said Edo was not a sellable name. to their investors and donors and all of that. So they now removed the E, which stands for Edo, and left the MOA, Museum of West African Arts, and they say it is guaranteed by trustees. That means it is more or less like a
private.
What do you call it now? Non-government organization.
Yes.
Non-profit, and whatever investment Edo State has put into it is like donation. And as at the time we were carrying out our assignment, Edo had spent 3.8 billion in that particular museum. They've gotten so much money from foreign donors. German government brought 4 million euro, American government $4 million, some other organization 1 million, 2 million here and there. And so quite a lot of money.
So is this...
All of these monies are domiciled with one man who is the signatory to the account, and who does whatever he likes with the money to set up a MOA museum in this thing.
Well,
and
Prince,
the land that is given to them was given to them. It's about 7,500 square meters.
Yes.
And because it's in the heart of Benin, that land should be going for like 5 or 6 billion, which should form part of our equity. Government is not in the business of Father Christmas. And if we're investing 3.8 billion and we're giving you such a choice location, there has to be something in it for Edo people. Aside from that kind of contribution, even the environment.
Could I come in at this stage? Hello, Prince, I'm trying to interject. I'm trying to, I wanted some, thank you very much, Prince, some clarifications. Did you find out all of the foregoing, did you find all of that out in the course of your work, or was this known? Was this known, you know, from before former governor left office?
Of course, why would he not be known? He was the one. He appointed a focal person in MOA, one Dele Obaitan, who was his commissioner for maybe arts and culture and all of that. They have a trustees of about 10 or 12 names, and spearheaded by one Mr. Philip Iheanacho. And one of our queries is that you cannot be discussed about museum in Edo State without appointing, you know, an Edo person as a rallying point. No matter the experience of any outsider and all that, you can't speak to our culture, you know, and tradition better than those of us who are from Edo State.
Okay.
Predominantly those from Benin. Because when you mention the Benin Kingdom, and you mention the Oba of Benin, what comes to mind next is cultural heritage. And all over the world, artifacts that were stolen are being gradually returned. And so because of the ding-dong affair between the palace and the government, as it were, under Obaseki, they decided to set up a museum and made it a non-profit making platform. So any money they raise and whatever, nobody will raise queries about it.
Okay.
So we found that very curious.
Indeed.
That is not a way to show, you know, credibility, transparency, probity, and accountability in government. That 3.8 billion, the utility value of that may give us more impact than a museum if you want to critically assess it. But that was his decision. But we are saying that what is the take home for Edo State?
Indeed. In fact,
we are providing security. We provided land, we invested cash, 3.8 billion. There has to be something for the Edo people. So so many other, you know,
I can imagine
in the state.
Now let me find
oil, the Presco.
Let me find out something.
Modular refinery.
Let me find out aspects of this.
Even the Coral City.
Okay, Prince.
They tried to build an estate of over 4,000
maybe
units.
we could take it one after the other.
They took over lands from the natives. And at the end of the day, they created a new organization called the Newtown Agency and gave a singular CFO to that particular new town, and they started allocating lands to people.
Okay. Prince Afebua, I wanted to Well, when you submitted your report to the governor, Governor Ekubolo, when you submitted the report to him at the beginning of February, on the 5th of February, it's now on his desk. All these things you have summarized and given us an inkling into, it's now up to the governor, is it, to come up with a, because from the beginning, you've been emphatic about value for the citizens of Edo, money. Value for money. It's Edo people's money and value. So clearly, that's why I started off by saying that that particular committee was not impressed by what was coming from the outgoing government. So now that it's on the desk of the governor, what are the recommendations that can be expected? You've spoken about proper judicial kind of inquiry, but these are
commission of inquiry.
These are what you would like.
That one will carry the force of law.
But we are waiting on the governor, right? The governor has to, because the governor has to study it and then
of course,
give his impression.
As at yesterday, the governor said he's studying our reports. He was quite alarmed by our findings. I'm quite impressed with our recommendations.
Okay.
And that he's actually going to set up a judicial, commission of inquiry.
Okay.
Where those persons we have invited before who refuse to turn up will have no option but to face such an inquiry. Otherwise they will be prosecuted. Whether they come or they don't come, they will be prosecuted. On the strength of what we have already, we have so many people to be prosecuted, and a lot of them have run away from the states and from the country.
Okay. You just said what I was going to come to next. I was going to find out from you if these people have been given a chance to even comment on what you have, what you have sort of come up with. I think there's a problem with our linkage. I don't think you can hear me. Sorry about that. Thank God.
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Because I was wondering, did the outgoing administration, at least those representatives that came before you, or the Governor Baseki himself and his team, have they been given a chance to look? These are the recommendations. They're now public. They've gone to the governor. Did they come in on this one way or the other, or they're just sitting down and looking?
No, they came. Some of them came in the course of our interrogations and fact-finding. A lot of them volunteered us information.
Okay.
Quite a number of persons. Some of them, appeared helpless. They were working on directive from the almighty Obaseki, who brooks no nonsense in dishing out, governmental diktats to show that he was in charge of the state, as it were. Those information, documentary evidence, oral evidence, were part and parcel of what we collated, dissected, before we arrive at our conclusions.
All right.
I was going to tell you about the Edo Best. They celebrated Edo Best.
I want to hear. Sorry, I want to hear about Edo Best, but let me take a quick break, and I'll be right back, and you'll tell me about Edo Best. Thank you very much, Prince Afegua. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back.
Hello, TVC Communications. How can I help?
What makes TVC the right choice for my business?
Excellent question, sir. Let me share some exciting facts with you.
Start your day on TVC Entertainment with Wake Up Nigeria, a family and lifestyle show. Your view empowers women globally.
It's your view, let it count.
Entertainment Splash delivers the hottest celebrity trends. On TVC News, we keep you informed with breaking news and in-depth analysis of events shaping the world.
I will continue to speak the truth.
TVC News at 7 and TVC News at 10 p.m. delivers the most important stories of the day. Max FM, your hit music radio station, captivates listeners daily across Lagos and Abuja, making every commute more enjoyable. Adaba 88.9 FM is not left out, as it is the voice of Southwest. And on TVC Digital, we reach to million viewers daily. All together, pulls in over 17 million viewers daily. Contact us on 0707-272-8338 or marketing at tvccommunications.tv. Partner with TVC Communications today. Let's grow together.
The TVC News at 7 and the TVC News at 10 are not like any other news broadcast.
It's the big news hour, the hour for the big breaking stuff.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Every second, every minute, every hour, and every day, time doesn't just tick away. It's a countdown to political decisions that shape our world.
This country must move.
Imagine the impact these decisions have on our lives. Some are consequential, others may leave us intrigued or baffled.
You will have no better friend and partner than Nigeria.
Step in and feel the frenzy like never before. Join me every weekday for an hour of fact-finding interviews where questions cut to the core.
How would you say your administration has fared in these sectors?
I will dig in to get to the heart of issues, from local politics to global insight. Join me as I unearth the power plays, jaw-dropping revelations, and the unfiltered truth. This isn't just politics, it's unraveling the stories that matter. Brace yourself for Politics Tonight every weekday at 8 p.m., where every decision echoes along the corridors of our lives. Politics Tonight, only on TVC News.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient. It's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
This place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe it's achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salamadinihi. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Experience information and entertainment like never before as TVC Breakfast takes your weekends to a whole new level. Introducing TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, your ultimate source of thrilling sports updates, insightful political analysis, and captivating entertainment news. Stay in the know with what's trending, catch up with the latest in sports, and immerse yourself in the latest buzz from the world of music and movies. Your weekends are no longer just days off, but moments packed with knowledge, excitement, and enjoyment. TVC Breakfast Weekend Edition, only on TVC News.
Okay then, thank you very much for staying with us. Our guest is Prince Afegwa. He's joining us remotely. And we've been talking about governance and accountability with a focus on Edo assets. This was the subject of a reconciliation committee. And Prince Afegwa has been telling us that there was much that they were not pleased with in the exercise, that came up in the exercise. Okay, so before we went on a break, Prince Afegwa, you were going to tell us about Edo Best.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. You were going to tell us about Edo Best. What is that?
Yes, the Edo Best.
Yes.
Was a program championed by the previous government, trying to deepen conversation around quality education driven by technology. But at the point of our fact-finding exercise, we discovered that they were just using technology to confuse the Edo school system. Don't forget that electricity is nothing to write home about. Secondly, internet services. Then you have a government that says they have cabled the entire 18 local governments and that every school in Edo can access internet. So we had to go to even some schools that are located in the heart of Benin, and we couldn't achieve any connectivity. That is one. The contractor, who they were using, will I call him consultant, was costing home 160 million every month. Ask me what he does. Only God knows. And so, at the end of the year, you are paying a contractor like 1.8, 1.9 billion. Meanwhile, the school infrastructure are nothing to write home about.
Okay, I have a question on that, but in the meantime, Mr. George has called in. So let me take Mr. George calling in from Lagos here. Good morning, Mr. George.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Prince Afegwa.
Okay.
Yeah, good morning.
Prince Afegwa, I know that Edo people are already aware that the money for the state was going into wrong channels. That is the reason, or that was the reason why development in the state was almost halted. That one could hardly see any visible achievement. So what your committee is investigating, we are only hearing details, but the news has been in town already. I will advise that it should not be allowed to take center stage, because you can't finish investigating those frauds even throughout the term of 4 years if you want to really go into it. Once you have compiled it like this, in my view, identify the major culprits, those that have not run away that you can still lay hands on, then you submit them to the relevant security agencies for prosecution. I think that is just the right thing to do about that. But I have two questions I want you to quickly answer.
All right.
So the first one has to do with the what I read in the news, that two appointees that were appointed only recently have been suspended, Attorney General and another commissioner or so. And I was just wondering Why so early? What is happening? Again, the tribunal. We are seeing a lot of video clips on television about what is happening at the tribunal. I smell a rat. And I believe with people like you, your party knows what to do about what is going on at that tribunal so that they don't give the government an uppercut. I know you know what I mean. Good morning.
Okay then, Mr. George.
Well,
First of all, decode the uppercut since you know what he means.
Our lawyers are there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, our lawyers are there. They are taking care of all the issues, and so I wouldn't want to discuss anything about the tribunal. The other issue of the suspension of the Attorney General and the chairman of the Local Government Service Commission, that is being looked into because there were allegations, so they need to step aside so that they investigate them. And once they conclude the investigation, then the government will speak through its relevant channels. But I want to appreciate your advice. But I also want to assure you that we are not distracted by the findings of our Asset Verification Committee. We are very much, in order in terms of taking up the challenge of governing the state. The governor, as we speak now, is already on the field, carrying out inspection of jobs that are ongoing. So we won't let this one distract us, but definitely it is also good that when you are presiding over public resources, public money, you have to be scrutinized.
All right then,
So
Prince. Let me take Prince. Let me bring on Patricia, who has called in from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Patricia.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. Go ahead, please.
I'm when I see Mr. Fegbo on the screen.
Yeah.
And that man is always making sense. He doesn't give a damn on anything that is going on. So I always, after God, I always believe in anything he says. So that's what I just want to contribute.
Oh, okay. Indeed. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, Prince, okay. So talking about Edo Best, it's sponsored by the World Bank, I understand. And I was reading somewhere, I'm reading somewhere that that's to the tune of $75 million. But then there have been, is it complaints or observations that no more than 5 million of that 75 million was actually seen by those in charge of, I think, Superb or something like that. So talk to us about that. How can that be? If we're talking about 75 million.
The $70 million, we couldn't find a trace. $5 million went into Edo Best. And the handlers of that program confessed to us that they were just like figureheads. When it comes to the finances and handling of that particular project, consultants had a fee day. I just told you how a consultant was being paid $160 million every month. Meanwhile, the schools are without teachers, most of the schools, insufficient teachers, and infrastructure, even the school premises, no chairs in the classroom. How do you deploy technology to teach people when the basic infrastructure that should motivate such learning are not available?
Well, all right. Now, in that said report that I think your committee was responsible for, Afrin Vest and Banwo and Igodalo companies is the subheading there. The impression, of course, the implication of all of this is that all is not well. When you have these kind of people, first of all,
they play the role of consultants. and certain monies were paid to them and all of that. Even the Alagodaro Summit was converted to an agency. Just a summit that normally looks into the economic prosperity and prospect and potentials of the state. They converted it to an agency. And that was chairman by Aswe Godalo. And so the Commission of Inquiry will have the force of law to invite Aswe Godalo and the MD of Every Invest and what have you to answer to some of these issues.
How about Edo's investment in the Edo Modular Refinery Company?
Well, that one was shrouded in secrecy. The government gave 700 million naira to Edo Modular Refinery. At some point in their report, they said they paid back the 700 million, which we felt should be some form of equity, but nothing of such. We saw records that they said they paid back the 700 million naira. But after we were concluding our reports, we had a whistleblower who came up with other perspectives about the modular refinery. And so some of these we have also captured them so that the panel of inquiry will look deeper.
We'll have stuff to work on.
Mm,
okay, let me bring on
I just
Smart.
want to tell you that
Smart has called in from Ishaga in Lagos. Good morning, Mr. Smart.
Good morning, Uncle Yeri. Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please. Your question?
Good morning. I just want to ask my beloved brother on air.
Prince Afebua.
Yes, Prince Afebua. He was once a commissioner. How clean was he in the administration then when he was serving us as a commissioner in those states? One. And secondly, the former deputy governor of those states, Mr. Philip Shaibu, was in this same probe administration. In all this, was he not aware of what was going on? Why did they not cry out there that it is now they are not crying out in all this? We don't want to know, because today we see him following the governor everywhere. What was his role? Why did he not cry out when these things were going on there in the same administration they are probing today? Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you, Smart.
Well, thank you very much for your question.
Okay.
I am not a spokesman to Philip Shaibu, the former deputy governor. But I know that as a deputy governor, the kind of information and involvement you get when you are dealing with a conquistadorial governor will be very minimal. And even at that, you practically have little or no say in some of the financial transactions. The books that we examine, we didn't see traces of Philip Shaibu in them. Perhaps if there are those who want to serve the role of whistleblowers, the panel of inquiry may volunteer information. But even Philip Shaibu himself, informally also assisted us with some of discussions around these investments and financial malfeasance. We told him that we will summon him, but if he doesn't come, a judicial panel of inquiry will have to, invite him. So that's why we said the report of our asset verification is not conclusive until a judicial panel of inquiry is able to look deeper into the mold to know the other issues that factorize that government under Obaseki.
Okay.
But
now
we are not going to spare anyone because such a person now belongs to APC and all that. If there are memoranda submitted to committee and provided information about Philip Shaibu's involvement in anything, he will be prosecuted.
Okay, let me bring on Sonny. Sonny has called in from Mowe. Prince, I beg your pardon, so sorry. Sorry, Prince, you can't hear us. Sonny has called in from Mowe. Let's hear from Sonny. Sonny, can you hear us in Mowe? Go ahead, please.
Yes.
Go ahead, Sonny.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, yeah. I just want to ask you, Mr. Okay. I was just going to ask Mr. Prince Afegua. In all the 8 years of Obasanjo's government. Hello?
We can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
In all the 8 years of Obasanjo's government, what good can you see in his government? We always see negative things about the government of Obasanjo. Many people praise the Obasanjo government that the man tried in Edo State. I'm from Edo State too. All your thoughts towards Obasanjo is always negative. It's
all right. I beg your pardon. We have taken that. We have
and APC.
Okay.
That's why all of you are against him.
Sonny, I want to give the prince a chance to respond. I have heard that. Why is the prince so negative about former Governor Obaseki? Every time you hear from Prince Afegwa, he is always cutting Obaseki down. I just wanted you to be sure that we have heard that. Can we let the prince respond to that?
Thank you, Uncle Yori. If the man listened to me earlier, I raised the point that the expansion of Stella Obasanjo Hospital was a good idea. But spending $1 billion for consultants to just supervise
900,000
an overkill. If I see anything good, I definitely will say it. But what is crucial and which must be taken home is value for money. You cannot spend 10 naira on a project that should ordinarily cost 3 naira, and you want me to celebrate you.
Okay. Well, Prince, we have run out of time. I beg. I really am sorry, Prince. I'm so sorry that we're having a hearing challenge. You don't hear us when we want you to hear us. But I have heard what you have said.
My position that I heard before now.
All right.
An informed position.
Okay.
Not that of hearsay.
Okay.
So
we're going to have to leave it here, Prince. we really have to leave it here. We are having a few challenges on the program this morning, but nevertheless, I think we've managed to, communicate with the audience out there. Thank you very much, Prince Kasim Afegwa, speaking this morning from Abuja remotely. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. That's our program today. Do please join us on Monday for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.